Hey guys, my name is Phil, and welcome to the Basketball Journey. For our very first episode, we'll be taking a look at the journey of Toronto Raptors forward Pascal Siakam. Pascal was born in April of 1994 in Douala, Cameroon. His father, a man of Christian faith, really wanted Pascal to become a Catholic priest. Meanwhile, his three older brothers were all playing basketball on scholarships at American universities. With Pascal's father wanting him to become a Catholic priest, he was enrolled in the St. Andrew's Seminary in Baifa, Cameroon. While attending the St. Andrew's Seminary, Pascal received an invitation to the Luc Mumba Amoti basketball camp that was occurring in Baifa. He received the invitation to this camp solely based on the fact that he was a Siakam brother. This camp was in 2011, by the way. And in 2012, Pascal received an invitation to the Basketball Without Borders camp in Africa. While attending the Basketball Without Borders camp, and this is definitely a full circle moment for Pascal, he met NBA GM Masai Ujiri. Masai, who is now the president of the Toronto Raptors, recently in an interview in 2020 said that Pascal's efforts at the Basketball Without Borders camp in 2012 were memorable, and he further went on to say that he couldn't even tell if Pascal Siakam was going to be an NBA player or not. That's a pretty crazy quote to hear nowadays after everything that Pascal has been through over the past couple seasons. After the Basketball Without Borders camp in 2012, and with some mentorship from Luc Mumba Moti, Pascal received a scholarship to the Gods Academy in Louisville, Texas. He was essentially a nobody at the Gods Academy, but he was able to capture the attention of coach Marvin Menzies of the New Mexico State University Aggies basketball team. After receiving a scholarship to New Mexico State University, Pascal had to redshirt himself due to an injury for the 2013-2014 season. In the 2014-15 season, he worked himself into the starting lineup and earned the Western Athletic Conference, we'll just refer to that as WAC, Freshman of the Year. For the 2015-2016 season, Pascal really showed his skill level and improvement after playing in 34 games, averaging 20.2 points, 11.6 boards, 2.2 blocks, and earning himself WAC Player of the Year honors. After this incredible season, Pascal declared himself for the NBA draft. With the 27th pick in the 2016 NBA draft, the Raptors selected Pascal Siakam. The draft haul that year for the Raptors was the 9th overall pick, which was Jakob Poeltl, the 27th overall pick, which was Pascal Siakam, and they also signed undrafted rookie Fred VanVleet. To everyone's surprise, in the 2016 season, head coach for the Toronto Raptors at the time, Dwayne Casey, actually started Pascal Siakam in his rookie season. He got the start over the likes of Jakob Poeltl. A big reason why Pascal also got the start in 38 games that season was because the Toronto Raptors signed forward Jared Sullinger, who was dealing with back injuries at the time. Pascal ended the 2016-2017 season with the Raptors, averaging 4.2 points and 3.4 rebounds in 55 games. But his biggest accomplishments that season came from his play with the Raptors' D-League affiliate, the Raptors 905. And in case you guys have no idea what I'm talking about when I say the word D-League, the D-League is what the G-League was before Gatorade decided to add sponsorship to the league's name. So the D-League, which was called the Developmental League, shifted over to the G-League, sponsored by Gatorade, in the 2017-2018 season. However, during the 2016-2017 season, Pascal Siakam, and actually alongside his current teammate Fred VanVleet, led the Raptors 905 to the D-League Finals, where Pascal averaged 23 points and 9 rebounds, and ultimately the 905 won their first ever D-League championship, and he won Finals MVP honors. Now, the 2017-2018 season is when you really saw Pascal's development and what he could bring to a team. He became a key contributor off their bench in Toronto and averaged 7.3 points and 4.5 rebounds and played in 81 games that season. And for all of you that don't know too much about the Toronto Raptors, in the 2017-18 season, their bench was called the Bench Mob because their team was carried basically by their bench for a majority of the games that season. The Bench Mob was made up of Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, CJ Miles, and Jakob Poeltl. Oh, and you can't forget about center Lucas Nogueira, also known as Bebe. Anyways, now it's time to talk about the 2018-2019 season. And for everybody that knows basketball, or Raptors basketball, at the end of the day, the Toronto Raptors ended up winning their first ever championship that year. In a stunning move right before the beginning of the 2018-19 season, the Raptors traded fan favorite DeMar DeRozan alongside the 9th overall pick, Jakob Poeltl from the 2016 NBA draft, in exchange for forward Kawhi Leonard to the San Antonio Spurs. For all the players on this team, I like to call this the Kawhi Leonard effect. Every single player that played with Kawhi that season for the Toronto Raptors saw their game elevate to points that nobody thought was possible for that player. And one of those players that received high praise and their stats just went crazy was Pascal Siakam. Pascal saw his points go from 7.3 points and 4.5 rebounds in the 2017-2018 season to 16.9 points and 6.9 rebounds in 80 games played, while he started in 79 of them. During that season, not only was Pascal being mentored by Kyle Lowry, Kawhi Leonard, Serge Ibaka, but during the 2019 trade deadline, the Raptors acquired center Marc Gasol from the Memphis Grizzlies in exchange for basically Jonas Valanciunas. Pascal had a great regular season, but it wasn't until the playoffs that he put the NBA world on notice, and his stats just went crazy during the NBA playoffs, and he was a force to be reckoned with for the Toronto Raptors. He started in all 24 playoff games for the Raptors that season, and alongside Kyle Lowry, Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard, and Marc Gasol, he averaged 19 points and 7.1 rebounds. Pascal's efforts during the 2018-2019 championship season for the Toronto Raptors led him to win the Most Improved Player award that year. And not only did he win the Most Improved Player of the Year award, he also was able to secure himself a contract extension worth 4 years and $130 million, basically making him the main man in Toronto. Pascal got a little bit of everything that year. Most Improved Player of the Year award, an NBA championship, a 4-year, $130 million contract extension, but the 2019-2020 season was a little different. After winning a championship, Kawhi Leonard, obviously, as we all know, decided to leave the Raptors and go join his hometown LA Clippers over the next couple of seasons. This move basically made Pascal Siakam one of the stars for the Toronto Raptors alongside Kyle Lowry. This season, Pascal was able to elevate his game to such a high point, he was named an NBA All-Star starter for the 2020 All-Star Game in Chicago. But come March 11, 2020, everything changed for Pascal. Obviously, as you know, we're currently living in a pandemic that was caused by the coronavirus, and on March 11th, that was the day the NBA shut itself down. Unfortunately for Pascal, living in Toronto at the time, in his condo, he was unable to train or even touch a basketball for months on end until the Raptors were able to get to Florida for the NBA restart. I don't want to say Pascal forgot how to play basketball, but it definitely was not a good look for him inside the NBA bubble at Walt Disney World. He struggled mightily for the Toronto Raptors, but they were still able to get some success and get themselves into the second round and push a 7-game series against the Boston Celtics at the time. Pascal's game, though, was definitely weak. He was exposed. He was getting scouted. His spin moves, his jump shots, nothing was looking the same as it was prior to the COVID shutdown. Regardless, he ended that season averaging 22.7 points and 7.3 rebounds in 60 games, and in that playoff series, he averaged 17 points and 7.5 rebounds. So you could see there was a clear drop-off between the regular season and then the playoffs happening inside the bubble. He was named, though, to an NBA second team based on his play during the first half of the regular season. After the Raptors were defeated by the Boston Celtics in 7 games and were eliminated from the NBA playoffs, Pascal unfortunately received a ton of hate on social media and was being blamed for the Raptors' mistakes and their losses during the bubble. The hate was unfair, and it was just putting a ton of pressure on Pascal, who already struggled once through the bubble, but now had the pressure of his contract extension kicking in before the start of the 2020-2021 NBA season. Even with all the pressure placed on him for this season, Pascal is balling for the Toronto Raptors right now. Now, even though in this short span Pascal may be balling, you could obviously tell he is still struggling with the stuff that was going on inside the bubble and during the off-season. On December 31st, head coach of the Toronto Raptors, Nick Nurse, ultimately decided to bench Pascal due to an altercation that happened in the previous game, and it carried over into the locker room, showing a bad attitude in front of his teammates and just carrying a presence that the Raptors did not agree with. The benching was essentially the final straw for the Raptors. But since that benching on December 31st, Pascal's been putting up 18.9 points a game, 4.9 assists, and 8.3 rebounds. He's also been hitting some personal milestones, including a 32-point performance on January 6th versus the Suns, which is his season high thus far. He also came close to a triple-double against the Sacramento Kings on January 8th with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and a career-high 12 assists. And then on January 11th versus the Portland Trail Blazers, he finally was able to get his first career triple-double with 22 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. Based on his current play and the record with the Toronto Raptors this season, which has been rather disappointing to say the least, Pascal slowly is looking like his old former self prior to the COVID shutdown. But at the end of the day, as long as he keeps grinding, the Raptors continue to succeed, and he's got, the support of the fans and the organization behind him. I know he'll be able to get back to what he was back in his all-star form this season. Anyways, thanks to everyone for sticking around to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it, and if you could hit that subscribe button or leave a comment, that would be amazing. I'm going to be pumping out content constantly, not just based on players' journeys, but we'll be talking about coaches, we'll be talking about transactions happening in the NBA, the WNBA, and just the basketball world in general. Anyways, thank you guys very much, and I'll see you around at the next video.